This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here with me, I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. It's time to be negative.
I don't think this show's ever had a problem being negative. I think people argue that we're too negative sometimes. But I'll see where you go with this one because, I don't know. I think if you're going where I think you're going, then I'm probably gonna agree with you. But yeah. Should we talk about it now, or should we talk about when the guest comes in, or should we mention there will be a guest?
Yes, we should probably bring that up. We do have a special guest joining us tonight. Long time guest of One Nation Radio, Ciara Reid, will be making her epic return. The so-called retired woman of podcasting somehow was drawn out of the islands where she spends much of her time, I'd imagine, just on luxurious vacations. While we sit here and continue to grind and put in this work.
Ciara's in tropical locales with no mosquitoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And decided to give us some of her time. She's going to be joining us after the AEW Dynasty review. I'm sure she has a lot to say as well. So tune in. It'll be pretty fun to talk to Ciara. It's been a while. But yeah, man. Birthdays in 2 days. That's fun. James came up over the weekend as a surprise. Yep. I had no idea that was happening. And I was happy to see my dog.
Well, so I'm happy to see you too, man. Yeah, so I want to say maybe like 2 weeks ago, Rich's wife messaged me, was like, I'm planning on doing something. I want to do a surprise for Rich's birthday. Do you want to come up? I was like, yeah, we can do that. And we made it happen. So yeah, like it was just I was trying to figure out like how do we do this? Do we want to make it like some type of prank thing where like, I'm just there, I show up at your doorstep, that sort of thing, and then like it was just a situation like she drove me back from the airport, and then I was like, I'm just gonna knock on the door like 2 minutes after you get into the house. I was like, okay. So I think, did Catherine record that?
I believe she did.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got to see it. I haven't seen it, but basically it's just, show up at the door and Rich is like, he said, what the fuck, or holy shit, one of the two. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's just some funny stuff. But yeah, man, it was fun being up there. Got to go to one of the 2 usual spots we go up there every time I'm up there. We went to Nana's Chicken and Waffles, and then we missed out on going to JJ's Fish, but Catherine, I don't know how this woman came up with such advanced niggardry, but she went to Publix and decided to order a catfish sandwich, and she was like, James, I ordered a catfish sandwich at Publix. It's here. Do you want a piece? And I almost would be like, I didn't know whether to be offended or be like, damn well I want a piece. So, yeah. So I ended up getting.
That's her order.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've never heard that before. It's not on the menu. It's some some alley shit ordering off the menu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like they give it to you with like the custom tag on it. It's I've had it before, a piece before. It's not bad.
Yeah, well,
but
I came home and I had one today. I was like, yeah,
look at that.
That shit was good. But yeah, man, glad to be up there. It was fun. My cousin Alex, who lives in Atlanta, him and his fiance Alicia, they also came in too. So we were all together for the weekend. It was like, I know, like basically anytime I could ever go up there, we all kind of get together. So it was fun to see y'all because I hadn't seen y'all since like October, basically. So that was fun. And it's always fun to be around Alicia because like I'm pretty sure some of y'all get the idea that I'm a grump or some type of stick in the mud. But when I'm around Alicia, I'm not, because she's the stick in the mud and she's the grump. So I get to be silly. So it's because there's somebody else to be the quote unquote adult or the serious one. So I get to be silly. So that was fun. So we were talking about during the show, Anthony Bowens made his debut, his reintroduction with his new like aesthetic and everything. And we were trying to explain to these people that have never watched AEW like that, like what the whole situation was with the scissoring of the Acclaimed and they're split up and all that kind of stuff. And then we were explaining like, yeah, they got over by being like, this one guy was a rapper, this one guy is a really good wrestler, but they put them together and like one of them is gay and that's a part of his character, but it's not some major thing. And then like they kind of got over because he's gay, but they got over by like having a handshake and they call scissoring when they put scissors together, whatever else. And she rolled her eyes. I went up on her super serious, like, hey, you know what it is? I got a good 2 minutes of laughs off this one, boy. But yeah, it was a very fun weekend, and can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, Google Maps tried to trick me. I know the mistake that happened now is like I should have took 238 because it always normally takes me through 238, but something happened and Catherine had an issue getting to the airport, and I think the same thing happened to her. Happened to me this morning, where it put us on 239. It's like, hold on, I'm not trying to go around this motherfucker. I'm trying to go through. I'm trying to go through. So it's like, I will remember that for next time. But
yeah. It was all good because like what happened was I set my alarm to be like 3 hours before I had to get on the plane, and like I got up at 2:45. The show ended at like 12:15. Like I was so like sleep deprived or sleep delirious that like I didn't realize that I actually like was an hour ahead. So I was under the impression that I was like only had 2 hours ahead as opposed to 3. So like when I was like trying to realize, hey man, we gotta get there. I'm thinking like, yeah, these doors closing out. So by the time I got on the train, they take me to my gate. I was like, oh, I'm not late. In fact, I'm a half hour early.
How did it feel?
I mean, it was relieving. I thought it was going to be some plane. I've never been some plane before. I thought it was going to be some plane. So that was relieving. That's very relieving. Man.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome.
I don't know if I ever said this on the show before, but like my flight back from Japan, I got through them doors onto my plane like maybe less than like 2 to 5 minutes before they closed the doors. Because on my way back,
you're really about to be Nihon James. Really about to be Nihon James.
So what happened was on my way back on the bullet train from Nagoya to Narita, like somebody fell out on the plane. I'm sorry, on the train. So like the train was stopped, and it took like a half hour for them to get this person off the train, and the paramedics to pull them out of the subway. But like we weren't allowed to get off, and that was at my exit. So I was stuck literally in my train. It didn't move for like a half hour. So I was like, from me being perfectly fine to this kind of close to I get to my gate, and I'm like lightly jogging to get to my gate. It's already the end of the gate. It's not like right there. It's all the way at the end. And then like I get through, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're closing. I was like, oh boy, that would have been a disaster.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So birthday coming Wednesday. That's gonna be cool. So I had a very fun weekend. So
yes, this man wore a birthday crown all weekend, basically.
I did. I have it downstairs. I wasn't gonna wear it on the show. Maybe I'll go get it later or something. But it's downstairs, and going downstairs is a pain. But yeah, man. Duke Blue National Championship or blew the final four in an epic choke job fashion. I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow, just don't know shit happened like that. So, got to tip your hat, 9 out of 10 times. This is the 10th time some shit would happen like that.
So
those be the breaks.
So we were at Dave and Buster's, and they're doing whatever they're doing. But me, I'm like, I haven't watched Duke at all this year. Let me watch them. And they're up like 17 to 15 most of the game. So all of a sudden, they on this huge dry spell, and it gets to the game gets to 10. I'm like, it's a 10, but Houston ain't scoring either. Then, Houston, while they're struggling to score, is like, yeah, but Duke still ain't scored except for 2 Cooper Flag baskets and one other basket at random. Next thing I know is all right, well, it got it close to 6, but Duke just scored another basket, or they got some free throws, whatever, it's out of hand. And then in the last 90 seconds, just all hell broke loose. And I was like, by that time, that's when y'all I guess were looking for me or whatever else. But I was attracted like a moth to a flame to this potential long-time choke job. And I was like, I'm just watching. I ain't saying nothing, but I'm just watching. I ain't changing my seat. I ain't moving. I'm sitting right where I'm at. And we gonna see if, we get this reverse jinx going. That shit worked out. I didn't move. I sat in that seat for a whole, 40 minutes of that last 10 minutes of playtime, it felt like. Until the choke was sealed. And I was like, yeah.
I was just baffled. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
There are no words to describe,
I mean, and
what
also
happened
that foul on Cooper Flag.
That foul was very bad.
Awful.
That was very bad.
Absolutely awful. Got robbed. But, I mean, it all came together to put them in that situation to get fucked over to begin with. They had no business, not being able to score at all against them. I don't give a damn how good Houston's defense is. Duke was physically superior as a team. They just couldn't make a basket, and it was baffling to watch. I don't know if their guards had any struggles. I don't know if their guards had any NF or NBA future potential. But after watching that, they need to bring their ass back.
That or Duke need to hit a portal, try to get a guard somewhere. Apparently,
possibly. What are the Boozer twins? Are they wings?
Boozer twins, I believe, power forward.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So. But yeah, they'll be in next year. All in all, I can't really be too upset about it. John Shire, I would have liked to see him, get the easy or the quick national championship fast into his tenure, because it always doesn't go that way. But he's, been a phenomenal coach. The 3 years he's been in, 2 Elite Eights and Final Four. So if this stays like this, you're bound to kick the door in one of these years.
Regardless of whatever happens, he's made a Final Four. He's made it sustainable to where it wouldn't be shocking to see him reel off a number of Elite Eights and Final Fours over some. He's already done it 3 times, so he's already a successful hire, right? The only time you could be an unsuccessful hire while making Final Four is if you're you live in this Carolina life like I'm living, where it's oh, we made the Final Four this year. Oh, we barely made the tournament. We didn't even deserve to make the tournament next year. Even number of years. They could be the 1 seed. They could be a 1 seed in the tournament. They could win the ACC. Odd number of years, their NIT potential or material. It's very, very frustrating, and I'm one off the roller coaster. But that's neither here nor there. Congrats to Houston for doing the job that my team couldn't do.
Yeah, so hopefully they win the title. So, but yeah, let's talk about AEW Dynasty, man. Overall, man, just a show that is taken the critical reception of this promotion like it was always going to come to this day. The shows that had started recovering in January went through Revolution as an awesome show. It was always going to come to Dynasty here for a lot of the directions, the culminations on where we're potentially going towards All In. And the main event just was a flat out rejection, I think, from the audience in a way that rarely something in this company has ever kind of dimmed the rest of the card. I thought it was a good show overall, but that main event is so I don't even know what the words are for it, because Jon Moxley continues as the AEW World Champion, and Jon Moxley, quite frankly, stinks. Like in 2025, and even going back last year's, it's been about a year of this with him, where there have not been great promos, there have not been great main events, and we're stuck with this Death Riders thing and potentially Darby Allin having to wait for this. And with the tournament, it feels like whoever wins the tournament, they're getting fed to Moxley too. So like it feels like we are all collectively staring at this thing like, why won't you fix this? Like, why do you come at us with this idea and dangle the things that the crowd, I think, would actually take to? Like, they themselves started putting the ideas of Swerve and Hangman facing off for the title at All In, like people wanted to see last year. They started doing it again this year. They came out with the voiceovers. They came out with the commercials with Swerve and Heyman and them finishing it off and showing the AEW World title. The fans didn't do that. I questioned it as they were doing it at that time. This was always the result, and I
Go ahead.
I quite frankly, am very disappointed in, just disappointed in the company for whatever has been promised to Jon Moxley. I don't know what it is. I don't know if promises were made, but it sure seems like it, because I don't know. Look, the only people that are popping up with this stuff, there's been a lot of negative feedback for this. And I would say the only time we're hearing something back to it is people trying to pop up and run defense. Nobody's singing the praises on how great this is on their own. Nobody's being like an evangelist and saying, yo, let me tell you why the Death Riders are dope. Let me tell you why the main event scene has been captivating. Let me tell you why these main events don't fucking suck shit anymore. Like, all we are doing is watching awful main events every fucking month with this guy. Why are we doing this? I hate this. And look, and Swerve drugged that to respectability as much as he could in that match. And in the end, we're caught up with this creative kind of thing in some people's minds, which I think is like, oh, you throw the Young Bucks on there and you try to cross up the outrage. It's like, they like the Young Bucks, right? So we'll just put them over there. But what's happening is
we like the Young Bucks as heels, even though they've had the worst stretch of their careers in this company as heels just recently 6 months ago when they went off TV, or 5 months ago, whenever that was.
Right. And then we'll put Swerve and Hangman and the Young Bucks over there, and you guys will be, whatever. But Jon Moxley sneaking out the back door, and then what we're going to do is end up with this motherfucker stinking it out again. And then Swerve and Hangman teaming up. I want to see him fight. I want to see the one-on-one world title match that they have never done. What is, I don't understand why they don't value this match, apparently. It just seems like it to me at this point.
I don't know if it's necessarily the match or there's the timing of they've made these plans and what they're going to do with this belt, and they've never came off these plans what they do with this belt except for when people get injured. Like, have they ever made a pivot on how long a world title run was going to happen in AEW that didn't involve a suspension or injury?
Only when a child was coming into the earth, into the world.
You have to jump in what you mean by that.
So Kenny would have probably dropped to all out 2021 rather than Full Gear.
Okay,
if Heyman was back.
Okay, gotcha. So, barring something involving a hospital trip or suspension, the plans stay what the plans are for the session plans.
Once they slotted Kenny Omega as like the international champion and away from that world belt, I knew they weren't doing anything with Moxley. I was, trying to raise hell as much as we could. We came out with a segment probably like 2 weeks ago. I was like, explain why Jon Moxley should beat Swerve Strickland. And there is no good explanation for this. They had the chance to take advantage of the fan momentum, the positivity, and the wave of WWE shitting down their legs. And what did they do?
Yeah, but I also think that it's not necessarily the best thing in order for them to always have to react to whatever WWE's doing, right? Like, I think a lot of why they've been better in the last, in this year as far as their television shows has been, especially in the last, especially like once we got to February, was that like, they stopped worrying about that shit. And they just said, all right, whatever. Like, we need to focus on us. So we need to get these carnies off TV. And it immediately got better. So I get what you're saying, but sometimes it's probably for the best when they just do them. Now, doing them also includes what the fuck's happening with the main event scene with the title the last 6 months. And this is a problem. Like, this is like literally the only real problematic thing that's happening on the shows on a regular basis. Like, it's not the top thing. It's not the most interesting thing you look forward to on the shows. You care about something else, and the only time you care about it is when it's like, okay, they're finally going to end it. It's like, okay, they're finally going to Swerve in here to end it. That's why people showed up, tuned in, bought tickets to see Swerve become champion again. And then ultimately, after for some reason deciding to go a half hour longer than they've gone before on pay-per-view, they decided, no, we're not doing that, and we'll throw the Young Bucks to it so we can have our matchups for the annual Blood and Guts and Anarchy in the Arena stuff. And I'm just like, man, that's fine, but I also want this to be over.
It's a gross miscalculation of all this shit, and it just feels like people trying to think their way out of a situation rather than make a situation and make something magical. So, it's like, how can we put Swerve in this match? We'll make sure we don't beat him. Like, we're gonna run all this interference and all these, crisscrossing angles and all this other shit.
Yeah, cool. That's what they did with the Bloodline at the end. It wasn't, no one liked that. Not to bring up but you have a counterfactual of you have competition that did something just similar a year and a half ago, a year ago, and their fans are complaining. These fans are harder to satisfy that you have. Why would you do this?
So many run-ins in this. So many people involved in the match that are not billed here. The marquee says Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland. Why do I have to keep saying Wheeler Yuta? Why was I saying Hook during my main event here?
I guess that's going to be the next Trios feud.
The fuck, man?
And also Wheeler Yuta does have the Dom heat, so there is that. He does have heat, but the problem is everyone knows he's a pin eater. You can't shake that. He's the geek. So I
would love to know.
Whenever they lose those belts, it's not going to be because Claudio got pinned or Pat got pinned. It's going to be because Wheeler got pinned.
I don't care about the Death Riders. I don't give a fuck.
They haven't given me a reason to over the last 6 months.
This is Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers and Great Khali. This is the same shit.
No, it's not.
This is awful, bro. This nigga Moxley is shitting down his leg in all these main events.
Cool. I mean, you can pull up the cage match. One is mediocre. The other one was flat out some of the worst things that ever happened in the main event.
This is some of the worst shit that ever happened.
No, it's not.
Bro, is awful, bro. This nigga, and you compare it. You compare it to the rest of the promotion,
Rich.
Right?
You are comparing. No. You didn't say it that way. You didn't say it that way, did you? You made
it sucks either way.
It
makes it worse.
Alex, I'm sorry. Rich, you're not being fair here. I'm with you on the thing. It sucks. If you want to say get the fuck out of here because it's the worst thing on the shows, I'm with you. But the then go to is literally Jinder Mahal. No, or you didn't say literally. You said it's Jinder Mahal. It's not Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal is one of the worst title reigns in the history of major American professional wrestling. This is just bad.
So is Jon Moxley.
No. There's a difference between some all-time worst shit and just bad. There's levels to it and you know it.
Bro, he has no critical acclaim whatsoever. He hasn't cut a promo worth a damn until from 2 weeks ago for the last 6 months.
Agreed. It's still been better than him being racist to Nakamura. Right. You know, come on now. I get you're trying to be hyperbolic for the clip or whatever. What are you doing? But come on, man. There's levels to it and you know it. Come on.
Look, Jinder Mahal wasn't the one controlling his own shit. I know that. Jon Moxley is. Jon Moxley, this is 1,000% his idea. This is his vision. This is his creative. When he stands on a YouTube video and rambles for 30 minutes, nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about. This guy is, get him the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know, like, what is the, like, I don't understand why we, and it goes back to last summer. Like, it goes back to last summer. This guy didn't earn this belt. This guy hasn't been a guy that has done good work recently to be like, oh yeah, this guy's getting over. Let's do something with him. This was just a shock turn for a guy that was likely frustrated or out of the mix. Whatever the fuck was wrong with him, right? Whatever the fuck, wherever he wasn't around the first half of the year. And there are stories on that.
There's also the New Japan stuff involved in that too. Right.
And instead, we got to watch it now. The American House of Torture out here with these guys thinking this is creative. This is cutting edge or groundbreaking. No, this is primitive. This is the reason things like this were the reason this company was created in the first place.
Agreed.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, like, and you just look at all the things that are surrounding them, and it just makes it stand out even worse. And I saw the timeline was at a fever pitch all morning. So many people were excited that, hey, we think Swerve's gonna win this shit. And the fact they put Swerve in it, that sucks, right? Like, as far as like, yeah, you're gonna beat Swerve in the end, and then like do this thing with Hangman, and then, you know, push it to the side in what feels like an unsatisfying way. But at the end of the day, we are still like looking at this guy about to walk into a stadium, it seems like.
Yeah.
And then it's only going to get worse. When he beats Will Ospreay, it's going to be worse.
I'm not just ready to say that's going to happen. Like, look, we're talking about something different totally, as far as like tone deafness. If they go to their biggest show of the year and leave people in the main event with a moment they do not like say whatever you want to about the Adam Cole MJF thing, like, there was absolutely half of the fan base that was absolutely satisfied with that match and that ending, right? Like, that was very polarizing, but there were people that were satisfied by that. I don't think anyone's at all dissatisfied paying money to go watch that show or attend that show for Jon Moxley to, one, go into the main event, and two, leave with that belt. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole different look. That would be what's happening this just the last 24 hours on, like, with a multiplier of worse. That's the stuff that gets, when I was making the joke, like, you know, if Darby was going to be the wild card on Wednesday, like, going in against Paige, like, he might get booed. Like, Darby comes back after Moxley retains that title, and he's for sure getting booed. Forget a maybe. He's for sure getting booed. He could be getting booed against fucking QT Marshall. That's how bad it would be for him. Because everyone will be like, oh, it's for you. You've been gone for a fucking year. You climbed a mountain. You've shirked all the responsibilities that it would take for that people you look for someone to come be a champion, but you get this, and we've had to watch this, and now the destiny is not nearly worth the journey for this, and you're not even a part of the journey. That's a part of this that makes this even more frustrating, is like, anyone that would defend this, it's like, what are you defending? There is no guy that's on the horizon that you see on TV that's gonna rise up and be the person to conquer this. There is a title chase going on with no title chaser currently chosen to be the heir apparent. Like, this is like what they were doing with over the WWE side with the Roman Reigns bloodline stuff before Cody showed up. They had no plan for someone to succeed that shit until Cody showed up leaving AEW. Like, right now, this looks like they have no, like, on screen, it looks like they have no plan. But if you're someone that knows it's Darby, that might be even more frustrating, because, like, this nigga ain't on TV because he don't want to be on TV. He's doing other things more important right now. Thanks. Great. Now I have to watch Jon Moxley and the Death Riders longer because he wants to go climb a fucking mountain. Stay up on that fucking mountain.
Like, and then all our heroes get thrown in this wood chipper, and it's like, all right, what can you do with it? You know, and then it's like Cope gets 3 months with it to mix results, I'd say. And then, you know, Swerve gets 2 weeks, essentially. And
Jay White, Paige, Orange Cassidy.
Yep, just all thrown in this thing, and it's like, all right, what can you get out of Jon Moxley this month? And every one of them, to varying degrees, has had certain struggles, I'd say.
I would say, I don't think Swerve and Orange Cassidy has struggles. I just think that the end of the match, and it being the result to where, like, regardless of whatever happens in this match, if this match does not have a title change, people are going to shit on this match regardless of however good or not terrible it ever was bell to bell anyway. That was one of those matches where, like, the quality of the match was no indicator of people's enjoyment of this match, regardless of how it was going to be. It was going to be did you change, and also for the night, did you do the one thing that you booked people into believing you were going to do? And then when you don't do it, you're going to make people mad when you do it. Maybe don't ever put Swerve in that situation. If you knew you were going to do this, you don't do that. You don't deploy him in that way. You're only going to you're only going to grow resentment from your fan base.
Yeah, and like, as you mentioned, like, you know, I think the cage match scores are disconnected from how good this match actually was.
You say the same for the show.
Yeah, but the result is so. It's not. Moxley's not just getting judged on this one result. Right. This is like a culmination.
Right. I don't disagree. Like, the folks that are dinging it, they're wrong, but I'm not yelling at them. I'm like, I get it. Yeah, we all get it. It's just one of the things where, like, someone's, 5 years from now, someone's gonna look at that match and be like, yeah, was it like a 4 or something? Is it lower now?
Yeah,
it's like a 4. Like, nah, it was
like a 4 last time I seen it.
Like, people would be like, hey man, y'all tripping. Like, no, you need to know the context of this.
You need the context.
There was a reign of terror that lasted 6 months, and it could have ended right here with the perfect guy, and they one of the perfect guys for it, because, like, they could, because it could have been Omega, it could have been Takeshita, it could have been Fletcher, it could have been like 8 different guys that could have been put in that spot that could have put the title off Moxley, and everybody would have been happy about it.
There are 30 people on this roster I would rather have as AEW World Champion.
You probably can make. I mean, given what Moxley's done in this last 6 months, you easily make that argument.
Like, hey, I don't know, man.
Belt up Megasis.
Look, who had? I'll take it. But it's like, this was so frustrating to watch, and I just sat as the show ended, and I was just like, wow, I dropped that 50 or whatever. I didn't think they'd do it like this or whatever, and it was like,
I ain't believe this nigga gonna do me like this. I done gave you good money, you don't do me like this.
It was like, and then the Young Bucks insertion in this thing is like, okay, the Young Bucks haven't been around. People have tried to pull up that papers thing and all that stuff, right? But it's a lot of mind connecting. Like, it's like, we don't know if they're actually going to bring that up. We don't know if they're like actually.
Right, because they originally were afraid of the Death Riders.
Correct.
Like,
yeah, man. Like, I don't think this is necessarily about the Death Riders at all, because they're not going to be like with them going forward.
And it's like, okay, so you got Jack Perry, the TNT title. You with Okada, the Continental Champion, and then you also had the Death Riders on retainer for some evil to be the evil, authority guys. It's like, nah, man, this is they could tell that story, but like there was nothing, like there were no real clues or hints pointing towards that direction. Because, like, if that's the case, why didn't you just make Okada your champion? You wouldn't need to do, like, this is what do you call it? It's one too many things. It's a hat on a hat almost. It's like this is not whatever they come up with or whatever. It won't be perfectly pristinely clean, but whatever. They have gotten themselves to this mess. They have attached the Young Bucks to it, as opposed to bringing the Young Bucks out in Los Angeles last pay-per-view for Revolution. We bring them out here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Okay, all right,
yeah, and they're back as heels or whatever, and who knows what they're doing now?
After our least favorite run from the Young Bucks in that as heels in that way. And they've been heels before. They had better matches when they were heels. This was like, this last run they had was the worst or whatever else. So okay, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. They'll come up with something, like, presumably for, whatever. And then Hangman, him coming out there, the way they had him do the interference and all that. Like, it was like, who's he going to hit? And
am I going to hit or Swerve or Moxley? I was like, you hate both of them. Double clothesline. Who gives a shit?
Oh,
Am
man.
I incorrect in saying he's had Texas death matches with both of them? Does this sound like something you could be objective about? He hates both of their guts. You lucky he ain't come down there with a gun and shoot both of them.
Yeah, I questioned the direction ahead of time, and I have even more questions now because I haven't really asked what's going on, where's it going. I'm like, all right, we're gonna see, because I think people are not going to be thrilled with this because they just see they just see it as like, oh, you see it as less than, so why should we care about it in this way? And those are the most passionate vocal fans that drive the discourse for this promotion, which needs positive discourse from it, because what are they fighting against? They're fighting against a PR machine on one end. They're fighting against a cult on another. So it's like, if you can't even rally your fans to go up for you, it's going to be even tougher. And it's going to be like, you're going to be out there taking days off of Twitter, Tony Khan, like you're doing right now.
Right.
Like,
so one thing I will say is that, like, regardless of, I think that the attendance stuff is ahead of the TV rating stuff and viewership stuff, because, like, the Death Rider stuff actually does good ratings. The people still view them as stars. The problem is, like, there's no reason to care about these people that have been presented and pushed as a top act for, the entire run of AEW history and Moxley, and then, the BCC into Death Riders. Like, people still regard them and have regard to them, but they're not enthused to see them anymore. That's the biggest problem. Is like, you had this act that was always at this, the Elite versus them, the Jericho shit versus them. It was always that, in whatever group it was, the Claudio Moxley, contingency was always this thing that people, had a regard of, like, yeah, these people that, if you beat them, it means something. And then people still hold that to be true, but they don't have a reason to care about it because they're doing boring, uncompelling shit. And it's like, just fix the uncompelling part. Either move them down the card or make them compelling. I don't think it's that hard to do either, but somehow they've managed to keep both of these bad elements around. I don't get it. I just don't. It's been very frustrating.
Yeah. I didn't want to watch Mox's MMA in the match. I didn't want to, I just did not enjoy see Jon Moxley had to stand in there and get carried, essentially. That's what it felt like to me. I was getting messages the whole time on my phone from, new friends that are newer to watching wrestling, asking me questions about Jon Moxley. And I'm like, it's just what it is, bro. Like, so...
he's a bad heel. We have the history of it. I keep saying it almost every week. We know he's a bad heel. He's had 2 shots at it. One where he had almost no control of it, and this time where he has almost all the control of it, and he's bad. He's just bad heel. He's one of those people that thinks too hard about it and, like, you know what, I don't want to be a cool heel. All right, bro, we want to watch cool matches. So if you can figure out a way to entertain us while being dastardly in a way like almost every good heel character has ever done in the history of pro wrestling, from Terry Funk to Ric Flair, like, then yeah, like, if you don't figure it out, you need to move the fuck on. You need to move down the card. It's that simple. Like, there's too many good pro wrestlers doing good work and having good programs and good matches on a consistent basis at AEW, men and women, in tags, in trios, for this to be what's happening right now. Like, nah, man. Like, we're finna get to it in a second when we move on for this, but like, we are going to praise FTR for an all-time heel turn. This ain't exactly the friendliest FTR podcast in the world. But even they know how to go have great matches and good programs, or being evil or being like the not cool heels. Even they know that.
Go back to WWE, Jon Moxley. I got nothing else, man. Like, holla. let's go down, man. International Championship match, 3-way. Kenny Omega defends the belt against Speedball Mike Bailey and Ricochet. 30-minute match. Slightly past the peak, I think. But niggas wanted the PWG experience. You wanted the moves. You wanted the excitement. This is an incredible 3-way match. One of the best I've ever seen. I thought this nigga Speedball Mike Bailey came in this match, and it was like, hey, man, like, I heard a lot of people talking bad about this guy. I heard a lot of people just not fucking with him and all this other shit. I'm like, I'm gonna see for myself. This guy was sensational last night. Like,
but I mean, you already knew it was fucking awesome though,
bro. But he was just like at another level now, bro. Like this is like I think it had so many cool spots and so much creativity and thought put into this, and then just outright amazing feats of like the striking, the feats, right? And then those like, you know, the top rope poison rana stuff, and like just it was so entertaining. Like I didn't know which way it was gonna go. Like every successive near fall as it got closer, it was like, well, could they do it? Could they switch, you know, a belt here? Is Speedball gonna pin Ricochet or something? I don't know what they was gonna do because, you know, whatever. But yeah. It was a really great match. Ricochet was just like, hey man, like, hey, this guy,
another not cool heel that has quality matches all the time.
Ricochet smokes Jon Moxley.
He does.
And
we was on his ass when he first came in.
We were like, and what happened? He got his shit right.
Exactly.
Like,
that's all we ask you to do. Is not we're not mean to Jon Moxley. We both like Jon Moxley. We would like Jon Moxley to go back to what he was doing 2 years ago.
Like, and then, you know, Omega. This nigga's been lights out on pay-per-view this year.
Well, yeah. Yes.
And this is another one. I love this match.
Yeah. I was falling in and out of sleep, but like from what I saw of it, like I thought this was an incredible match. I didn't realize it went 30 minutes until after the fact, because I was going in and out. But like, yeah, man, like they did incredible stuff, and I can't wait to rewatch this.
Yeah, it was interesting how they kept getting the people back as it was like, all right, what's going on? And then like, you know, they just rise back up, and I thought this was, you know, just a really great athletic display and a great exhibition of just like, if you watch AEW to see incredible matches like this goes in that, you know, you opened up the folder or whatever, and then you say, oh yeah, this one's on there. I like this more than the 3-way from a couple months ago with Will, Takeshi, and Ricochet.
Okay.
Largely kept to, you know, like no interference necessarily in this one, and I thought this one just, you know, built it up great. And after the match, Kazuchika Okada comes out, coin drops, comes out in the suit, face off with Kenny Omega. They stare down at each other, and Kenny just walks off. So they didn't really give us much there, but this is at least the, you know, this is kind of reminds me of like when Kenny came out after Okada, you know, won the match.
Right.
And he walked off,
So it's also funny talking about this. We're doing this show in reverse order right now, but like the Young Bucks came out after this match. It's like, okay, so last time we saw Kenny Omega on AEW television, and the Young Bucks were also on television, they attacked him and took him off TV. Totally dropped. Did. So basically that's been totally dropped so we can put them with the Death Rider shit. Do you think they're gonna fight them two wars? Do you think they're gonna fight them two wars on at the same time on two different on separate fronts? I don't think so. I think they'll be with the Death Riders.
You would think the Young Bucks would be needed to tell the story of Okada versus Omega. Like it feels like an integral part of this, but
yeah, who knows? You would think that seeing that they were sitting at ringside during all the matches, you would think that. You would think that seeing that Kazuchika Okada will be having to do that on his own, if not in the second, in I guess the second language he speaks, and they don't speak this language exactly the most fluently in the world either. You would think it would be essential for that, but instead they're not with him. They're with Jon Moxley. You see, like, you see why like this makes no like. they're going to come up with they're going to talk about how this all goes together, and I'm going to be like, that was absolutely not your plan back in October. Absolutely was not your plan. You pivoted to this for whatever reason.
NT title match. Adam Cole defeats Daniel Garcia for his first championship in AEW, the AEW TNT title. I did not like this match. I thought it was pretty boring, especially this late on the show.
Crowd didn't care.
I thought Daniel Garcia he was not particularly exciting. Cole, I thought this was going to be an opportunity for him to tap back into great Adam Cole. This was not it. This was
maybe just meant for TV matches now. Pay-per-view maybe
this might be
pressure for him.
This might be who he is.
Because the matches he was having with Garcia on Collision were better than these.
Yes.
So
yes, I was disappointed in Cole here, and it was just like it seemed like a lack of creativity. It seemed like just move spam with the Canadian Destroyer or Panama Sunrise thing in and out the ring. It just like when you compare him to somebody like Kyle Fletcher or like. I can pull another heel on the roster, and it's just like this guy's winning the belt because he's a nice guy. That's what it just seems like. So I have no expectations for Adam Cole here, and I think any heel that you put in there with him could be looked at as like, hey, like if I compare Adam Cole, why would I actually? I'm not even going to compare him to Kyle Fletcher. Let's talk about the guy he wrestled, like like. Mark Briscoe. Like, why would we push Adam Cole harder than Mark Briscoe in this promotion right now?
I don't know. I think that he came in and he was doing a lot of things well, and then just everything is going wrong for him, and a lot of this stuff is just bad breaks. He's caught a lot of bad breaks, and they trying to give him a chance, but like. It's not like he's doing anything necessarily wrong. It's just that, like, sometimes they just take, life just takes it from you. Life is just taking it from him. And it's sad because, like, man.
Bro, you know what Adam Cole feels like?
Go ahead.
He feels like a shooting guard that's like 36 years old and he doesn't get open anymore. He gets no separation. He gets no separation off the dribble.
I don't even know.
He's easy to guard. I
don't even know if it's that much because it's like, I just think that like the stuff he was afforded in NXT to have great matches, it's just not, I just don't think he's been able to like recapture that thing. I think we kind of didn't realize that he was getting the timing was all right for everything and everything was going his way and it worked well. And then like now he's in a situation where like these injuries have added up on him. He's missed time. He's getting an opportunity. He's not necessarily like knocked out the park every time he's got an opportunity. It's been kind of hit and miss. Right. And it's like, all right. And you look at his contemporaries, it's like they batting averages are higher. People that are younger than him or whatever else. People that are, larger in size and like have more like growth potential too. And it's like, he's somebody that came over because, like, if AEW had been invented 3 years earlier, he absolutely, like, we were talking about Ricochet. Ricochet was failing, or we thought he was failing at his first beginning of his tenure in AEW. It was like, if he had been a launched star, he would have been a cornerstone, part of this. But like, it's all about time with these things, and like, luckily, Ricochet got another chance to reinvent himself. Adam Cole, he hasn't really.
Adam Cole never reinvents himself.
I mean, except for heel and babyface, but it's just, yeah, man, it's tough for him. I think he's just stuck. I think he's stuck and he's stale. And if he doesn't have killer matches, it could get people get tired of him quickly. And like maybe he goes on a run on TV with effectively the TV title. We'll see. Maybe his fortune's changed. Like maybe you should get him in the ring with, some of that collision.
I was gonna say, like, did you just try to link him back up with something that's worked in the past with like Ricochet? It's like maybe he'll feel comfortable. Like maybe he'll feel like I don't know what's up with the guy. I would
love to see that because it would give Ricochet a title.
Yeah,
and they love
Daniel Garcia,
and they love each other. They're friends, so yeah, they would make it work. And like, because the main thing for me is like when this thing has like worked a lot of late since he's came back in recent months is like, all right, like just do the trio shit with Undisputed. Just do that because Kyle and Strong are gonna be so good in the ring that it's like they're whatever's happening with him they'll be able to kind of erase some of that stuff. He just needs to go out there and kill. And I think that like right now by himself, he can't kill consistently. I think he needs to be there with his boys and they go out there and kind of, rebuild his confidence. He thought he lost his career. So like honestly,
yeah.
I think a lot of that comes down to just all the stuff.
Like I don't want to be too hard on him. Like I
don't want to count him out. Like, I'm not at the point. I'm not ready to count him out yet. I'm just saying like, yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff that I just wish, it's not working optimally. It's just not.
Daniel Garcia drops a belt here, and just think about this guy the last 6 months, like reemerging back at All In, kind of, and then doing the match with MJF, and basically getting sent to the kids table, like sent away from prime time pretty much, and I don't know if he got to necessarily execute his vision of what he had in mind to do with the belt. It would have been great to see him on the on Dynamite and beating people and stuff like that, but we know with the crippling condition that tends to go around in this promotion, I just feel like I'm not like I don't have knowledge of this or anything.
No players.
I was gonna say like I could easily like make that endpoint where it's like, all right, if I ask people to like raise their hand, like who's willing to do a job for Daniel Garcia, I don't feel like people are leaping up in enthusiasm there.
But isn't it interesting how they all had no problem working with him when he was the one dishing out the jobs? He was doing the jobs for everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to work with him then, but now it's time to pour back into what he poured into you. Not the same thing. Not the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not accusing these guys of anything, but it's like you just see what the footprints look like. You see what all the factors look like that surround this thing, and this being a well-known thing about this company, it does not pass the smell test that Daniel Garcia just got to do. Like this was the idea.
What I will
pass the smell test for me.
What I will say is that like he kind of got hurt because like look, Danielson's gone. Danielson has done jobs for him. He would do jobs for him. Garcia's been moved over to ROH. They would have had, they should have been a tag team or should have been feuding each other like with the Jericho stuff that was going on at the time when they were in the same camp together. And then like Kingston had that whole thing with him for years. And then like Kingston's off TV, so he can't do a program with him. So yeah, he's
Wheeler Yuta locked up with that trios belt. This is a generational rival for him. Like he could have laid it down for Garcia, but
that would have helped both of them a lot if they were able to just redo like what they were doing with the Pure Rules title on ROH. That first match they had on one of those Ring of Honor pay-per-views was raw as hell. They have natural chemistry.
Speaking of Ring of Honor, Ring of Honor World Title match, Bandito defeats Chris Jericho, and man, this was a really good match, all in all. And then that finish, which I think is like disconnected from the match, kind of, because obviously they started it again. So they do this dusty finish where Bandito's mom sits ringside and basically tells on Chris Jericho after he pins Bandito. Everyone's kind of shocked. Me and James like look at each other like, nah, they're bringing this back.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on, man, this is not passing the smell test. They hovered on the, why what tipped it off for me. It was like the way they shot it with him taking the bat from the secret place, putting the bat away, and it was just like the way they shot it was like, oh, they're gonna, whatever. I thought
they actually put emphasis on where the location of the bat was, as opposed to he just dumps it on the floor or something.
Like he didn't like throw it away or something like that. It was like, oh, okay.
Like he didn't just slide down a ring skirt. Yeah.
So it was like, so you're gonna let Bandito win, but you've got to pin him first.
I
didn't love it. I didn't love it.
I think for most people because the cage match rating got sent to hell. But I think the main thing about that is that people, it's fair. When you do these restarts because a heel cheated, it's like, okay, then why are we doing it for this one match, and this only one match in particular? Not every single match where every heel cheats. It's one of those things that where it's like, it begs the question, and it is bothering. So you shouldn't even do this. So
like someone should have literally been in the press conference. They'd be like, so why didn't they restart the main event?
Right.
Like on the same night. It's like, all right, if you're going to do this bullshit, everything else got to be clean. Like it's the quality control right there.
Right. Like the baseball bat is the line they'll go back on it, but not when two motherfuckers decide to like ram, knees into the guy's fucking face. Yeah.
Yeah, Jericho did pin him every time they fought so far. So I don't know why Jericho needed to necessarily pin him unless they're doing another match at like Death Before Dishonor or Supercard of Honor, whatever one is next. I don't know.
It'd be Supercard, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess Supercard. But Bandito did crack the old man Jericho code again, and then
the crowd was actually kind of got washed with the whole, the super long vertical suplex hold. It's just, I think people
just all got washed away with that finish. Yeah, it got washed away with that finish.
Is what people are killing. I don't think the wrestling match is 2.5 star quality. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Some are saying fake job.
Yeah, that's what Dusty finishes are, fake jobs.
Yeah.
Like he pins him, right? Like he pins him by using a baseball bat, and then the match immediately gets restarted and he gets beaten immediately. Yeah.
That is, I didn't like this. I didn't like
the main event of Starrcade 97 is basically that. Hill wins via cheating, match immediately restarted, like babyface immediately wins. Yeah. It's a fake job.
Look, he got everybody though. Oh, I know that for that 1 minute. I know niggas was like,
oh my God.
I'm like, all right. I didn't buy that at all. I was like, ain't no fucking way. Hell no, you're not taking Bandito's mask. Owen Hart men's qualifier match, Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. Anytime these two guys get in the ring together, it is magic. Bro, I tweeted Kyle Fletcher is incredible in all caps during this match. Mark Briscoe, I think he's earned so much more than he's been given at this point.
Yeah.
Excellent first round match.
Yeah.
I will watch these two wrestle each other for the rest of their careers. Kyle Fletcher is just like unlimited upside, I think, here.
Yeah. And like both of them in their own right, like are two of the just best TV wrestlers they got going in the company. Just they went out there, they just worked their ass off, hit the shit out of each other, and did their thing. And it was like, oh, easy 4.25, 4.5 if you want to go there, sure. Like they're just really good together, and it was a really fun first round tournament match. Yeah, great pay-per-view match, all that. Like, I just this was like a B tier pay-per-view for AEW. But like a match like that is kind of like just, you have a match like down the card, and then like you have the triple threat match, and you have the opener, and you're just like, and then you have also the Megan Bayne and Toni Storm match. Is like, this is a quality show. Just don't have the main event fucking suck. Just don't pour a cup of water on what you have going with the main event finish. Just book a different match. Like, there's no way you didn't think that the people are going to be pissed by you doing this. There's no way you couldn't foresee this. No way.
Only been running it all day. After that, or before that, AEW Women's World Title match, Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne, and I think I was sitting next to James the whole time, and he was kind of calling this beat for beat down to the finish, what was going to happen as they were setting it up.
Yeah.
And I think, look, man, I had a blast with this match. I thought they came to ball. I was into the Rocky thing that Toni Storm was doing. Megan Bayne, superstar aura, superstar gear, superstar performance,
superstar bronze job.
superstar bronze job. Yes, one of the most bronzed, people in the history of pro wrestling.
Hey man, there were six different matches that had like a black act involved in it. With that 10, if you want to make a joke about there being a 6 with Megan Bayne, then that because look if Stinger had that 10 as Starrcade 97, I'm bringing up Starrcade 97 again. There wouldn't have been no need for a dusty finish. He just goes over and beats the hell out of Hogan in 3 minutes.
Wash.
Yeah,
Eric Bischoff would have put Megan Bayne over last night.
Absolutely.
So like Tony like kind of rolls through and reverses that F5 into a small package.
Yep.
She's kind of got wins with that over the past 6 months or so.
Ever since she came back as rookie Tony Storm.
Yeah. Megan's pretty much away from the belt now. I don't know if you necessarily do it or now. That's the only downside to this, but I thought she was great, man. Like, and if they would have flipped it to her, the crowd was ready for it, I think.
Yeah. There was no bad decision. Given how that match went, there was no bad decision either way. This is a very successful match, and she has proved herself to be a future AEW Women's Champion. It's only a matter of time. She's done great. Great job by them recognizing what they have as talent and realizing we need to push her in a non-traditional way to what they've had with women in the company, where he's like, no, we're going straight to the top with her. We're just going straight to the top, and we're going to have her, beat up established cornerstone acts of this division. So, and she still has plenty of people to hook up with to do with. Her and Willow's going to be fun.
Yeah. I think this is one of Tony Storm's better performances in company history, just bell to bell. Regular rules, and just coming out here being someone that to feel make herself look vulnerable and look like she had to find a way to beat this monster essentially. And I think it was very satisfying how they did this match.
Yeah, very satisfying, great storytelling, and it was exactly the story that we were like, this is a story we're gonna tell, and it did it. Great job. 2 thumbs up. Huge success.
World Trios match, Death Riders defeat Rated FTR. And I like this match a lot. This was just it was just no bullshit. And I think, I don't know why the rating is getting dinged on this one. I think this is kind of getting underrated.
What's the rating
on here? 6.97.
Nah, it should be higher. But maybe they're also so sick of the fucking Death Riders.
A possibility.
Yeah.
I think that this was just stripped down, no bullshit.
Yep.
Cash Wheeler was awesome, just being a fucking madman all over this thing.
Claudio's making a million plays, to say keep his team alive as they're in danger of being finished.
Wheeler Yuta's own hometown turned on him and was bringing signs to indicate as such. And this all, kind of culminates with Dax Harwood ended up getting pinned here. And, the match was one thing, but the post-match... No. Here's another one, right? Dax Harwood, fake job. Oh.
Because he knew he was going to get on the back end. He's like, look, I may have got pinned, but I bet who finna walk out this bitch a winner.
Look, I feel like Cope should have took the pin here.
Oh, of course. Hilarious.
Cope does not do the job and gets written off in another injury angle. He's done 5 or 6 of these since he's come out of retirement.
So does he have a part-time contract like the Young Bucks? Is that what's going on? Or like
I feel like that.
Or like Danielson, remember that? Remember Danielson kept getting
so
injured?
Many stretcher jobs. It's all right, man, come on now. Ain't nobody on a stretcher this much, but
if you're on the stretcher this much, you need Tony Khan needs to sit you down and say you can't do this no more. You keep getting hurt.
Yeah.
In case
they have a 3 stretcher limit. Hey man, it's been 3 of these inside of 18 months. We need to protect the athlete from themselves.
Yes.
After the match, Hope goes to pick up Dax Harwood. Dax snaps, pile drives him. Wheeler's like, what the fuck is going on? He's been doing the acting job of a lifetime.
Well, you want me to go through it? You want me to go through it?
Sure. I was gonna say Harwood, of course, seeing Cope, can only think of one attack to do, which is the concerto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can take it from here.
Yeah, it's Dax gives Cope the power driver. He grabs a chair, puts it underneath Cope's head, grabs another chair, sets up for the concerto, hands the chair to Cash. Cash Cash considers it for like 1 second, shoves the chair away, and then shoves Dax to the ground. Dax gets the bottom rope like, please, 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 don't shoot me, don't shoot me, big Cash. And so he's like, I can't believe, I will never hurt you. I'm just mad at this nigga. I'm not mad at you, Cash. I'm just mad at this nigga. We wasted months going after the world tag team titles for this nigga. I'm sick of him. But whatever. I'm not putting hands on you. Never putting hands on you. So Cash goes and lift up. So this, in my mind is like this for like as Cope recovers for the power driver. Cope is recovering. He's getting helped up by Cash. Cash helps him up. But then it basically is like an alley-oop to set up Dax to get that man the flapjack so that he can get in position behind Dax for the Shadow Machine or the big rig. And then
they switch.
They get Cash gets the chairs. He hits that man with the concerto. Then he hits him with the concerto again once the medical guy gets in the ring. And then this motherfucker Cash, he grabs, EMTs come down to stretch for a stretcher job. He grabs the neck brace that is supposed to go on Copeland. He's supposed to roll his neck. And then he sits on top of, before they even gather up Cope's dead carcass and scrape his ass off the ground because he's now street pizza. They have got on top of that stretcher that was meant for Cope. Cash has, and then Dax is out here giving that nigga pumping his chest for CPR. I'm sorry, man. This is one of the best things I've ever seen FTR do, and I've seen him have multiple 5-star matches.
I fucking loved every second of this.
I did.
And I was like, yes. I was like, FTR is meant to be heels in this company. I was tired of the Southern father, Dax Harwood, just fighting for his family. I didn't give a fuck.
Rich,
Sorry.
Rich.
Come out here and just be aloof, be like, just the glory hog and like, whatever the fuck, bro. They are hilarious, like in their own way. There's
they
a specific
did a serious stretcher job, and then to say we finna clown the shit out of this nigga.
Yes, I'm gonna lay my ass on this shit myself,
bro.
Bring me to the back,
bro. I'm prepared.
And it's like Copeland. It's like fuck Copeland. Like, bro, crowd goes crazy for this.
Yeah, look, man. I'm willing to take it to a space where I don't think you're ready, where you want to take it, but I'm gonna take it here. So FTR is on 8 stars now, right? Because they've had 8. Because they've had 8 World Championship tag reigns, right? They've had 8.
I don't know. Floyd would probably be the one to tell you this.
It's either at 7 or 8. I lost track.
7 or 8, something like that.
Whatever the number is. Add another star to it. This is better than some of them title reigns. This was better than some of them title reigns. This was fucking fantastic, man. I love this shit so much. Hey, man.
I agree. I agree.
Because Dax was setting this shit up for weeks. He's like, he gonna turn on this nigga. He's like, and the Cash like, once Big Cash got into it made it so much better. He's like, no. Both of them actually hate him. He ain't gonna see it coming when I turn on him too. Oh, that was great.
This man faked it. They faked the funk like it was all good.
Great. That was so.
It was not.
That was so great.
Yeah, I love this. This was, bro. When he threw that fucking neck brace on, I was like, wow, this is brilliance. So, if you can keep FTR, bottle this energy.
Yeah,
FTR. Don't make it about like it's just everything about the belts. Like it's just obsessed with it. It's like
silly, violent villains.
Yes. Remember, we need dumbasses. Like
right. And that's not like
they add a little bit.
Like that is some shit that like remember Remember when Buff Bagwell broke his neck because of Rick Steiner, and then he came back, and then that man pretended like he fell out the chair or whatever else. Ultimately, was set up so Scott Steiner could beat his ass. Violent, insincere assholes. It works. It worked. If you ever get a chance to go back and watch the Nitro segments, and when Buff and Scott Steiner came out there and was showing their ass, like the week after they beat the hell out of Rick Steiner, they come back down with Scott Steiner pushing Buff down the ramp, and then he loses, and then Scott Steiner, like for some reason, loses track of Buff going down in the wheelchair. So the wheelchair goes down the ramp, and then Scott Steiner runs after, like, oh my God, and then Buff falls at the bottom of the shit, and he's like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And then Buff's like, and all he does is pose, and then does a flex. Oh my God. And the best part about it is, like, Buff actually legitimately broke his fucking neck when this happened. He came back, the clown on the party, he broke his neck. FTR needs to bottle this energy up. Just shithead heel wrestlers. We need more. Yep. FCR is filling that void. Thank you.
And man,
we've come a long way. We are shitting on Jon Moxley. We are praising FCR.
Amazing. You never know what wrestler will be next.
Right. This is proof that we are fair.
Look, your praise could come any day.
Right.
Wrestler X, if you're listening to this, all you got to do is be great.
This is proof that we are fair. Just do something fucking fun and cool. That's it. Once you stop doing that, then we'll be on your ass. Once you start doing it again, we'll be back to praising you.
Amazing. First round of the ladies' Owen Hart. Mercedes Moné beats Julia Hart. Just over 13 minutes. I was living and dying with Julia Hart in a way that felt weird. But I didn't love this match. I saw people saying this was just like fucking abysmal. Like Julia Hart needs to be out the ring and all this other stuff. I'm not going that far on it.
Worse matches.
Yeah, I've seen. I didn't think it was
sloppy.
that bad.
It wasn't.
Look. Yes,
it was dependent, and it was really dependent a lot on Mercedes having to base for her, and like they're basically the same size.
And then like there were times like when Mercedes was gonna do her climb the rope arm drag. Julia, I almost said her a different name. Julia does not follow her at all, and then like.
Did she even get to
Mercedes,
the second rope? Or did she dive on first?
Mercedes realizes it and just like, fuck it. And then, But so I didn't expect Julia to win or anything. I think the match with Harley Cameron was like light years ahead of this one.
It was. The crowd lost their shit when Julia got her submission on Mercedes though. They lost their shit for it.
They bought it.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were trying to build for some type of near fall or something like that, but it turned out to be like the submission that
a reversal that you got her into like a safety belt pin,
Yeah. Slash Size is bringing the nickname Work Rate Alexa Bliss. I just don't feel comfortable even giving Julia the Work Rate title. Like she has to earn that.
Yeah.
I know Alexa Bliss is bad, but
Yeah, like there's only one Julia Hart match I'm willing to be like, yeah, that she did her thing, and that was like the second Jamie match from earlier this year. And she was out there actually wrestling, getting thrown around.
AEW World Tag Team title match, the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin against Big Bill and Brian Keith, just over 10 minutes. Is it time to alert Hurt Syndicate on Fraud Watch?
I don't mind it. Now they're here to have quality tag team championship matches. They're here to beat people up.
Last month it was Outrunners, right?
Yep.
And I think there was problems with the layout and all that stuff like that. We got Big Bill and Brian Keith. They're not necessarily a threat, but they don't suck either.
I mean, they ain't no threat to Big Bill ain't in. Because the thing, like, this is what they did. Because they're being carnies. They're being old school carnies. Brian Keith saying they beat the shit out of Brian Keith. Big Bill comes in, they'll bump and sell for Big Bill. And the second that he gets taken off the table, they finna beat on little Brian Keith ass again, and not finna give him nothing. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They are working this like they're working this like they don't want to play ball.
Yeah. So I just don't know who you get in there with them to where it's like, all right, like if you're gonna
get the Young Bucks in there with them.
They're heels now, so you ain't got to worry about that. So
no. The reason why I say that is
FTR.
Look, the reason why I say that is you put the Young Bucks in there with them, they gonna have to play ball, but they don't want to play ball. So you can either see them show their ass and get their ass kicked out of the company, or they gonna go out there and work a match with them two little niggas. Like this, one or the other. Either you finna show your ass now, or you finna show your ass, or you finna get out the company. Which one you want it to be?
So Hurt Syndicate, if you notice, they are a heel world tag team champion.
They get cheered.
Both FTR and the Young Bucks said, "Fuck this! We are turning heel on the same night together and staying far away
from them niggas." Yes, absolutely.
If y'all look,
we will face the people. We will face the niggas that dethrone them. We ain't finna face them. We know what is finna happen. They do not respect us. They'll shoot on us. That's exactly what that is. Look, bro, I was saying this to y'all. I'm gonna say it on the air. When they kept showing the back of sweaty Bobby Lashley and show the bitch's hands, and every time I kept thinking about was that shit that Tyler the Creator was saying to Funk Flex in that freestyle. He's like, these is buff neck niggas. These are the buff neck niggas that Tyler the Creator was talking about. You want no smoke with these buff neck niggas. So you don't want to come down to the politics. All right, well, you might win the match, but you're gonna win the fight. You don't want Matt or Nick nowhere near none of that, or Dax or Cash. Don't do that.
It's time to push the Gates of Agony. It's time to push Archer and Cage.
Yeah,
it's time to put any big niggas that's running around in the back that want to get booked.
Like
want to do it.
Look, make Hobbs and Wardlow a tag team.
Yes, get Hobbs in there. Look, we got to turn this over. Like we got to let them do their thing for a little bit, and maybe we'll stumble into something. Yeah,
you got to put niggas in there with the size. It sounds crazy. You got to put them in there with niggas with the size that they respect. Like that's all this is. They not finna give nothing. They're not finna give anything to no one that's small. They are only gonna work on the level for big niggas. That's it. That's how they moving. You can tell all how it's going already right now. So yeah, it's smart for FTR and both smart to get away from them.
Or niggas got to be like absolute superstars that are in there with them that are like
because they wouldn't do that shit to like some super. They wouldn't do that shit to like Omega and Ospreay. They would never do that because they know they've asked to be in trouble. They have so much heat for that shit.
Yeah.
But Brian Keith, let clobber that little nigga to death.
Yeah, it's time to get suplexed. How do you want it? Like Tupac would say.
Yeah.
Opening match.
But I will say this:
night.
I don't think the crowd recognizes it yet. But if they keep going at the rate they're going, they will.
It will Irv had a great line in one of his interviews once. It was like AEW will reveal who you really are or whatever. Mm-hmm. Look, it's look, the doors are opening.
Yeah,
it's gonna be on the audience to be cognizant of that, or the Hurt Syndicate can just keep being big, black, and awesome, and and cool or whatever, and the theme song and just stuff like that. And I think they need to change the format of the song. They need to put the Hurt People part in the first because the fans are singing it during the rap part, like before. They don't know when it's coming. They're just saying that. So work them, make them think they knew it. First round of the Owen Hart Foundation. We got the opening match of the show: Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. Just over 13 minutes. I thought this started a little bit rough And then after that initial rough patch, we got to see why Kevin Knight is here, why he got this match, and who he can potentially be in this company. And, you know, Will made it real exciting, and so did Kevin Knight. Like, they were just like, they were doing so many like cool athletic things. This is just one of the most athletic matches, I would say, in the company's history. Lots of, I love that whole thing with the Styles Clash outside the ring.
That was a great
reverse into the DDT.
Mm-hmm. Like, that was a great like moment. Like, throughout throughout that match was like the fight, the absolute fight and thoughtfulness that Kevin Knight had to avoid the Styles Clash at all costs. And it led to a lot of, you know, great things that happened. Like, whether it was, as you mentioned, like them going on the floor to tease that, to, you know, he's realized he's upside down. He's in Styles Clash position. If he gets his arms trapped, he's going to get Styles Clash. So he, you know, puts his arms, you know, he kind of like crosses his arms. So then Ospreay's response is, well, fuck it, I'll hurt him up and I'll powerbomb him. And then Kevin Knight's like, oh shit, I'm about to get hurt up and powerbomb. Let me slide out of this, and he turns into, you know, a DDT and makes sure. It was a lot of cool stuff like that revolved around like him trying to escape the dangers of the Styles Clash. I thought this was a great match. I thought it was a great opener.
Yeah,
really smart opener. For those that say that, you know, Ospreay doesn't tell stories, I'm sorry, man. That match puts that to rest. Just like a lot of other matches he's had. It's just, y'all, you know. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You're going to be fighting against this for another decade, brother. Sorry.
Yeah. And the thing, they wanted Kevin Knight to roll in the ring with Lord Tensai. You know, they wanted him to, you know, learn the finer points of wrestling from Black Magic. You know, they wanted him to go in the ring with the headgear. You know, they wanted him to go to promo class. They wanted him to take the pay cut to not make as much money, and go to NXT.
So
this is one thing they won't tell you,
right? So
there is one that will. Oh, go.
Nah, you got to finish. No,
okay. This is one thing that people will not tell you when, because you know a lot of people don't have this knowledge of the financials. There is no wrestler that will take the NXT offer instead of the AEW one. Financially, it's not happening. If they're going to NXT,
unless you burnt bridges and you had to go somewhere else.
Correct. I was just about to get there.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I think Kevin Knight's gonna fit in swimmingly here, rather than being in the ring with the headgear.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, he's already had 3 killer matches, so yeah, he's off to a good start already. And he's one of those people who are like, you know, he's going to be in there with some top people to prove how valuable he is and get people to care about him. And now I think the next thing for him soon needs to grow some roots with like some friends, some relationships inside the company. They need to show on screen besides just the New Japan lore. These people, you know, were gaijins, and they need to, from there, like, go forward. I think that he is set up pretty well with these 3 matches, like the Jay White thing, the Ospreay thing, and that tag match. I really do.
I think the company believes in them too, because they're, you know, they could have put a lot of people in there with Will, and this is a great opportunity to get them in there. So, but yeah, man. That will do it for our AEW Dynasty review. A show with a lot better wrestling on it than I think is reflected in the scores. But the scores are a result of the
people being
results.
Pissed. Folks is pissed. Yeah. And rightfully so for what happened in that main event.
Yeah. I thought Swerve was great. I'm glad James was here to explain the thing he dressed up as. You know,
Static Shock.
I didn't know what none of that was, so that was pretty cool. When I
saw that, I immediately knew it was Static Shock, and I was the person that watched Static Shock when it was a cartoon series.
Yeah. So I don't know how we want to do this. If you want to pause the audio just to make sure we get Ciara in here, I am going to change the graphic here. I believe I have Ciara in the Discord. So Ciara, if you are here, please unmute yourself.
I'm present.
There she is. James, can you hear okay?
Yeah, I can hear.
Sounds good.
Hey.
Welcome back to the show, Ciara. How's it going?
Let's see. I mean, I'm on the tropical islands, as you guys said, enjoying my retirement. Was over here minding my business, eating lunch with Gladys and them, and just open up the app and just wonder what the hell was going on in wrestling. And yeah, some people need to go take walks. I'm just gonna say it for real.
Okay.
But-
Do you wanna get into that now?
Yeah, sure. Let's get into that. But also, I was thinking earlier, I don't even remember last time I even done a show with you guys. It's probably Mae Young Classic.
Has it been
Not the first one.
That's a long time ago.
Yes.
2018.
Yes. Because remember, I took a break from writing, and then I was strictly just doing like 1 month posts, and then I just like after that, like Casey passed, I was just like, I'm done with everything. Yep.
Well,
It's been
welcome back. So,
Yeah.
for some of the newer listeners, we've got new listeners since then. We've
I
we've
know,
upgraded
I see.
this setup just a little bit. We doing our thing now a little bit, but
I'm
Ciara,
proud of you guys.
yeah, thanks. Ciara was around in the early days of One Nation Radio. It was much more primitive.
That's the word you want to use?
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so Ciara's always been someone that has shown us a lot of love. So hopefully the audience now enjoys you as well. But yeah, I want to talk about Swerve and Booker T. We're going to start there with this whole thing. Now, this thing it's not as recent kind of as it seems. Like, this thing has kind of exploded over the last couple of weeks. After the show last night, Swerve ended up cutting a promo and then ended it with "fuck Booker T." This kind of is a result of around 6 months ago or so, whenever Swerve re-signed with AEW, I believe there was the whole question around the market value stuff. WWE was putting out different things about Garcia and Swerve, and they're being paid too much and all this other stuff. I believe Booker T made some comments about it. Swerve kind of sat on that, kind of just like let it bubble, and decided to respond to him on the Vlad interview. And that Vlad interview is still dropping. It's still not all the way released. I believe it's up to part 14, if I'm not mistaken now. And like, they're breaking it up, for every juicy piece of information. I would advise people to check it out. I think you get a lot of good information in it. And this whole thing, featured him basically responding to Booker T about, hey, talk about he's like, talking about being treated fairly or whatever, because he said he didn't know if Swerve was being treated fairly, if he thought he would be a bigger star in WWE, whatever it is. Swerve was like, hey man, when Vince McMahon was saying nigga in front of you, that didn't sound like it was fair treatment to me and many others. Booker T then responded with like a 1 hour podcast, the Hall of Fame podcast with Brad Gilmore, where he was very animated, going at Swerve. Seemed like he was using his promo voice a little bit. It seemed like he said it not only responded to Swerve, but he said a bunch of other ridiculous shit, to be quite frank, about other wrestlers needing to wrestle up to his level nowadays, and just acting basically the things that Triple H was telling us, where he doesn't see color. Booker T pretty much echoed those sentiments in his own roundabout way. Led us to the response from Swerve, and then Booker T again responded today, saying he doesn't, really want to respond to him, and Swerve's blown this whole situation up and everything. And just kind of what I think about this thing is, niggas is allowed to disagree. I think from Swerve's perspective is like, hey, why are you have something to say about my money? Essentially, why are you trying to flip that situation into me being bitter? I think from Booker's perspective is just like, this is an elder. He's probably looking for respect for a certain, degree or whatever. But I don't know, man. How I look at it is, the old, like, it's a lot of like that NBA stuff where it's like the old guys not trying to, show the respect to the young guys. And I think, Swerve was tired of this shit. Cat sits and takes arrows all the time, and he wants to respond. So it's up. Let the smoke out. Ciara, have you followed this stuff?
Unfortunately, I have. It's for me. It's the Booker T thing. It's like kind of like the cherry on top of the ice cream that's already been prepared. It goes way back. With Swerve having that one line in the song, and I remember then, and it's like, okay, yes, as a Black woman, was I offended? Yes, but at the same time, it's like I've heard other songs that have said way worse things. Like, there was a time when rap music was almost banned off the radio. A lot of people don't realize this because of the derogatory fashion and things that were said about not just Black women, but women in general. So it's like, there has been way worse. There is way worse that is out here on iTunes, and we all have access to it in some way. So it's like, okay, disagree with it and be like, hey, I don't like what you said. You got your preference, whatever. I don't care, dog, but you had to say that. Make it known that you didn't like it, how you felt, move on. Because the way I look at it, it's like, all of us here, Black folks, kinfolk, we all have people around us within that same skin color, same genetics as us, same strides and struggles, that have said some off the wall crap about our own, right? Some of us check them. Some of them are to the point where it's like, man, no matter what I say to him or her, they don't think about what they say. And we deal with this in our daily lives. The problem is, it's a lot of people on the internet that have not understood that there is real life, and then this is wrestling. You can disagree or dislike what somebody does in their life, but at the end of the day, you do not know these people personally. And it's gone past disagreeing and disliking what he said to habitual hate. And it doesn't make sense to me because it's like, I'm seeing people say some horrible things, but then it's like, you were mad because he said something that offended you, so this doesn't make it any better. And now Booker T's roped into this. And then another thing with the Booker T thing that really has aggravated me, because I can tell who's phony and who's out here for clout. If you ain't really about your wrestling shit or out here actually giving a damn about this shit, do me a favor, hand your keys and walk out. This is why I left, because there's a lot of people have gotten in this space that know nothing and just speaking crazy. Booker T got WCW World Championship because he refused to show up for a lawsuit that was filed against WCW for racism in 2000. So are we really want to sit here and go up for Booker T? Yes, you can respect him. He's a legend. He's done a lot for the business. Has he not? Yes. But if we're going to call one to the carpet, we really got to sit there and look at him like, hey, dog, why was this okay? Because Meltzer has reported on this. Meltzer's wrote about this millions of times, and I don't like Meltzer. Everybody knows that. This has been covered multiple times. Sonny Ono was the first one to file the lawsuit, and he had other African-American wrestlers join him in the lawsuit. It got dismissed, let go, settled, out of court, whatever. Booker refused to, show up and testify, according to other sources. So it's like, if we're going to call one to the carpet, why can't we be like, hey, dog, what was the reason? Because I'm not buying this, let's harp on and be, we all pro-Black, we all come together because we all have a random dislike for someone, and we gonna choose him as our prophet, but our prophet has in some way somehow done something that doesn't really put our best interests or didn't really stand beside his people at one point. And yes, he wasn't around for a lot of things that happened in the power plant and everything, so he could not be like, oh yeah, I dealt with this. But we can't just have one way and then one the other way. And it's just like, today I just was like, this is really ugly. A lot of people are, how would you say, they're acting like this is actually them. Yeah, like they're acting like this.
Parties trying to basically jump in and like, be like, yeah,
It's
would you do it in his face? Would you do all this stuff? I'm like, if the man said it in front of that many people, I think he's prepared for whatever comes with it. Personally,
right? I don't think he cares, and I think a lot of people don't realize he's been wrestling for over a decade. He wrestled in CZW. They was putting knives in each other's foreheads on a nightly basis. Like, think about that. Like, he's been through a lot just like anybody else. So this doesn't matter to him. It's his opinion. But people are taking this personal, like, as if he walked up in their house and said, fuck your couch. Like, it's not that it's wrestling. We can't always saddle somebody with our own beliefs if they don't align with that.
James, I want you to jump in here. What do you make of this whole like kind of situation? Because I remember a couple years ago we kind of had the Mark Henry and Leo Rush thing, and I think that was a little bit different here, but this is a little bit more contentious, I'd say.
I mean, it just there is a what Swerve said was right. That's actually what happened. Like, he was a part of a segment where the most powerful person in the history of professional wrestling said nigga on screen during a live nationally televised show. And he let the shit slide. That happened. We've talked about that for years at different points. And this whole idea of, for me personally, other wrestlers talking about other wrestlers' deals, given that, like, you know, my thought on it would be similar to like pro sports, where it's like no one talks about this. We don't discuss other people's contracts, right? Like, it's just going to lead to resentment if you start doing that stuff. If you resort to like pocket watching. So it's like, hey, you up? Whatever you get is whatever you get, and good or bad. If you got more than people expected, good for you. If you didn't, then, you know, hopefully next time you'll hit a lick, right? Like, that's kind of how that goes, right? Like, so the idea that somebody in the industry that, you know, has success is upset that someone else's success is like, because it's, you know, there's more money now. It does sound like the old time ball players being resentful of the current day guys that the TV money's higher now. So there's more money to get. It sounds like that stuff just at face value. And then you throw in
where he works.
Yeah, being on the other side of it. It's, and like historically, like how connected Booker T is to WWE, to where like he has students that get signed to WWE out of reality of wrestling. Like, they're kind of a de facto developmental farm for them. Like, it's you know, just like Seth shit is. Right? There is that element to it. Like, he is in too deep to have an actual unbiased opinion on this, and I don't think people realize that, because people don't really they aren't as into it as we are. So, like, I'm sure there are a bunch of people that, like, you know, and also because of age, like, don't remember that WCW lawsuit. So, like, they just think, like, you know, Booker T is some ambassador that never, you know, got himself in any controversial situations or whatever. So, like, that's not necessarily the case. Like, he's held water for major American pro wrestling and the discrimination of black people for a long time. And he's benefited by being one of those people that has, you know, held that water. Same for Mark Henry.
Look, that BET list didn't have him number one for no reason. You know, he's been somebody that's been protected and kind of You know, like Book is a guy that has been, I would assume he's been liked. You know, he's been making money in the business for this long. You know, there's somebody that keeps like, you know, giving him opportunities and stuff like that. And, you know, the way that he wanted to get his money, that's how he wanted to get his money. Like, I don't think we can necessarily like hate on that or anything, but we can also call it what it is and be like, yo, this is what you did. If you can't live with it, Booker, then maybe you should have moved differently.
Yeah.
And Swerve's my friend. I think we can. I'll just step in it here too. It's weird because it's like I want to, you know, fire back at people. Then it's like it's not. I don't want to contribute, you know, to all of the negativity with it. But it's just like, nah, man. Like I know how much Swerve cares about the business. I know how much he cares about black wrestlers within the business, creating opportunities for people, being the person to walk through those doors to basically like leave the door open behind them. It's like I know this guy in a way that people don't. So like this stuff really kind of needles at me a little bit. And it's like I think, you know, of all the I think of all the suckers that are basically trying to basically get their own thing popping off of this. And it's like one is not about you. And then it's like, what are you really trying to do? Like, do you really want to see Swerve and Booker T fight each other or something? Is this what you really want to see? Because it's not impossible. It could happen. Who knows? Like, they see each other. Like, ran into each other the other week. You know, face to face, they talked. Like, I personally wouldn't want to see that because I don't want to approach anything in life with negativity or like, you know, doing physical harm to somebody. That's not it. But that is all, like, when you go down these roads of pocket watching and then, you know, saying a fuck you and then, you know, dropping like that hour interview, whatever, like about Swerve, that Swerve didn't really say anything after that. He waited again until he had a large platform, very smart guy, calculated, and he's going to get it out as much as possible. And he's saying, Booker says that Swerve shouldn't talk about him after the pay-per-view and all this stuff. And it's like, well, when does he need to talk? Like at that point, I don't know. It's just really it's really frustrating, and I don't think either of them are going to necessarily care enough to squash it or anything. So I think we're going to be stuck with this for a little bit, and whatever will happen with it will happen. But I stress to people to realize it is not about them.
No, it's really not. And that was a thing that got me was like, I opened up the app. It was already starting last night when that video dropped. And then I opened it up today and it was just like, people have turned this into being about them. And I'm like looking at the tweets and I'm just like, so do you have a problem with him personally? Or are you getting way too invested in this and not understanding that this is deeper and it's actually between these two men? What happens is there's so much outside noise that's filtered in and added more to what was said. And probably on both sides, there's also feelings that they probably haven't been able to discuss because now it's just getting bigger and bigger. When this could have been a conversation between them, water on the bridge, everybody move on. But you got people that already have their disdain for Swerve adding more fuel to this. And like I said, yeah, Booker did that, but it's like people that are online complaining today and going off. I'm sitting there like, do y'all remember a few years ago when Booker made that comment about black wrestlers and offended a lot of black wrestlers? And it's like, so we just skate past that because that wasn't just too long ago. So yeah, a lot of people responded then, but I'm like, so what is that same thought process of like, hey, you did say this. You ain't no better. Like, there's no accountability. And I think it's more so people are not looking for the accountability for it because who he is, how he's so respected. And again, he's done a lot. He's been around for a very long time. I can't say I've ever heard anything bad against him. But it's just that that doesn't mean you can come out and say what you want to say about people, especially people of your same skin tone. And then you put that out there, and then it's already bad enough in this business where we weren't really supposed to be in this business as it is.
Just like
we were
anything
putting
else.
cars, right? Like we were putting the back seat of cars, trunks of cars to be driven into shows because fear of race riots, being hung from trees and stuff like that. Like there's so many of our own ancestors that were in this business that have had their accomplishments wiped because of the color of their skin. So when you have all that there, and then you guys get on the internet and you talking like that, none of that happened, like none of that existed. You gotta really like think about this. Like all of that happened, and then you come online as a respected multi-time world champion, tag team champion, all around, been in every company, and you say that about young up and coming Black wrestlers. You don't help. You cater to the already stigma and thought process against Black people that come into this business as it is. So it's just weird to see people take this as a personal thing and not really looking at both sides and seeing like, hey, they both have said some crappy things. Let's let them figure this out. This is not our fight.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add to that, but whatever it's gonna be is gonna be. So that's where we at with it. So, but there was another interesting issue in wrestling that apparently has been bubbling over the last couple of weeks. Kind of culminated on SmackDown. Not a show that I watched live or anything, but this Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte promo that went off the rails. And has kind of been, there's a lot of actors surrounding that feud. I think one is kind of looked at as a future, possibly replacement for someone. Charlotte's like, hey, I ain't going nowhere. So there's natural tension there, I would think. Charlotte kind of came out with a talk show appearance where she was discussing her divorce. Of course, the dark Twitter rumors started emerging about exactly what, led to such divorce and all this other stuff. And this culminates in the ring where the nastiness is getting brought to the screen as Tiffany Stratton just completely basically repays Charlotte for what happened a few weeks ago. There was a split screen where Charlotte kind of ambushed her a little bit, and there was nothing she could really do there. And she said, "You may have got me once, shame on me, but you is not get me again." So she was basically like, the line kind of culminates like, hey, when I was 25, or when you were 25, you were drinking in your dad's basement trying to be a volleyball player. I'm the 25-year-old world champion, about to be my first WrestleMania. You have a 4-3 record at WrestleMania, but I'm gonna make you basically like how you are outside the ring, where you are 0-3. Isn't that the count now, Charlotte? And then and then ducks out the ring, because from that point it could get physical, allegedly. And then Charlotte tries to fire back, but clearly stunned. The Russian was cut at this point. And she was like, yeah, man, this is why Kaiser's in my DMs and all this stuff. And it was just like too little too late. And this was nasty. And this match has the potential to be, I just hope they get the match in the ring. Ciara, have you followed this?
Unfortunately, I've seen the clips over and over. And it is not good. It bothers me because I love Charlotte. I've been up for Charlotte since day one. Because I've seen the potential. I've seen that she would morph into this. Tiffany Stratton, she's came a long way from what I possibly thought at the time would happen. But this is the problem. They're forcing this. They're forcing I'm the new blonde. You got to go against me. It's very much, it does not need to happen. they don't need to be together. They're too like of a personality. A lot of people don't realize this is like, if you really break it down, they're the same person, just with different circumstances. They should never cross paths. It's sometimes I wish that they would take a little bit of understanding from the Divas division of when you have Beth Phoenix on one roster, you have Michelle McCool on the other roster, and then that one time they put them together in the ring, it was a good match. But when they broke them down and realized Beth Phoenix was also a heel and doing the same thing as Michelle McCool, shaming the other girls on the roster for being lack thereof, it didn't work when they tried to do the program. So what happened? They had to make Beth Phoenix babyface. They had to. And it worked. But then it went back to shit when they put her and Natalia together, and that didn't do anything because there was no one against them that would be the comeuppance, because they had them going against heels that were the same person. So it's one of those things, like, I'm sitting there watching it, both of their body language in the ring. They didn't want to do this. They did not want to talk to each other. They were sitting there looking at each other like, should I say this? Go ahead.
Charlotte was damn near quit in the middle of the promo after the crowd was getting on her.
Damn near.
Didn't sell it or hide it at all.
That's what I would do. I would have took your microphone down through my heels and said, I quit. What can they do? They would have to change the whole storyline. Like, they could have done this so much better. Like,
how many times is Charlotte going to quit in the middle of a promo?
But make that her thing. Why not? Why not? She's been there. Charlotte's been with that company since they rebranded as NXT, right. The original NXT. Right. So has Becky, so has Bayley, Sasha's down Mercedes Moné. At some point, you got to change the character, but she's so well embedded as who she is. So then when you bring somebody else that's pretty much supposed to be the replacement, but they're not really holding up the candle to be that. I don't know if they're trying to do a passing of the torch thing, but this is not. It's not good. It's pretty much like
pass no torch.
No, but that's the thing. She's not trying to pass the torch, but at the same time, I don't know if it's because she feels, as she said in that interview, she feels like she's a failure and didn't do as much as she should have, especially when she had to take all that time away with all her personal issues and stuff. I don't know if she's being extra hard on herself, but for me, it's like, you've done everything. Unless you want to go back into a role and be Natalia number 2, what else are you gaining? Move around. Leave. Explore other options. Like,
I think I've seen her make comments before about it basically being a thing with women, like where she's trying to compete at a more advanced age. Like, why do I have to stop at a certain time? Why, you look at the guy wrestlers and they can hang around so they're 40, 45. Like, I think she wants that same opportunity. And this stuff, like the longer she sticks around, this is just a preview of what's gonna keep happening. James?
Yeah.
She can't pass the torch because her 2 heir parents don't want to work with her anymore. They'd rather do a 3 with Io Shirai. She's already burnt those bridges. That's the problem. The problem is when she looks in the mirror, she sees all of her problems. She's caused this. This is of her own making. From the horsewomen to Bianca to Rhea, they don't want to work with her no more because they know how she gets down. They know she does shit like how she did to Tiffany Stratton, and that's why they put her with Tiffany Stratton. And now Tiffany Stratton is trying to deal with this political monster that she's never had to deal with it in this kind of like high leverage situation, and then you end up with this in the ring over the last couple of weeks, or on TV in the last couple of weeks. It's been a fucking disaster, and Charlotte keeps having these disasters on TV, whether it's her trying to slap around fucking Nia Jax, or her dropping the fucking belt during the belt exchange a couple years ago with Becky Lynch. This is all. She's always in it. She's always in it. Like before, when like
Rhea Ripley, not a fan. Why would she be?
Like it's always a problem, and it's always involving her. And until she can figure out, you know, that she needs to chill the fuck out and stop being so competitive or doing the things she does when she's fucking 5'10" and she shows up out here in these fucking 6-inch heels all the goddamn time to do these matches face to face with people. She's fundamentally trying to sabotage her the people she's going against.
Yeah, it's
Always.
nasty, man. It's nasty. Like,
and then
like,
luckily she'll, you know, it's time for a big match. She'll go out there and have a killer match, and then people forget and move on. And then she'll go away, and then she'll come back when it's time for another big match. Like that's the kind of thing she's been on the last couple years. It's like she's almost like a part-timer.
and part of me like thinks like the Office is like kind of condoning this stuff. Like this isn't kosher. Like because ultimately these are people showing up to work their jobs,
and
right?
She ain't never
did toxicity.
And she ain't never did nothing to be able to absorb doing all this shit. Like it'd be one thing if it was Becky Lynch doing all this shit, if it was Rhea doing all this shit, because they actually became big stars, they actually moved numbers or whatever else in viewership. She's never been that person. Or moved merch. She's never been that person ever.
She's been the Office's pick.
I think with Charlotte, the issue that kind of holds her back is she has the same issue as her father. For a long time, they're the darling. Everything comes to them. They get whatever opponent they want. They get whatever match they want. They get whoever. You know, everything is at their beck and call. But then there becomes a point when you go back and look at stuff from the old territories, even when you watch documentaries, you see there becomes a point where the territories were phasing Rick out, especially the NWA, not because they didn't like Rick, but because they were trying to move in other people in that space.
Flair,
he
Sting.
had done everything.
Sorry, Luger, Sting. Yeah.
Right. So he had done everything. He had all the top opponents. He had everything. He had the money. He had, you know, the limousines, the jet flying, everything. So Charlotte, she got that as just because of who her father is. And yes, she busted her ass just as much as everybody else. But the problem is with Charlotte is that they handicapped her so bad politically that she was used to saying what she wants and getting it and not understanding you have to adapt. Becky Lynch has adapted to every circumstance that's been thrown at her way. Motherhood, marriage, everything. Charlotte has not. Bailey has also. Mercedes Moné went on elsewhere. You know,
well, and when you say that it's easier to do when you're not one of the favorite children, so you know you got to get out in the mud, and as opposed to her is like, oh, I just go out and get whatever I want, so I ain't got to make no adjustments. You adjust to me,
right? And that's why I think that Charlotte is handicapped. The company did that to her. I feel like, especially during that whole NXT upstart, yes, you had Natalya, you had your Sarah Del Rey's, you had plenty of women that came from the indies of influence that traveled the world to explain, like, hey, this is how you move around, this is how you politic, this is how we're going to book things. But because they saddled on her so early and put her in that position, they did not make her understand that, hey, eventually one day you're going to be on the other side of somebody else that we're going to put in your place, basically. And this is how you got to maneuver it. She doesn't know how to maneuver it because she doesn't know how to maneuver it because for her, she went away to college. She came back home and she said, who is this? When did we get another child? What do you mean we're siblings? She's bewildered. And age a long time ago with the women in the business played a part in it. But there's been so many women over the last 15, 20 years that proven age is not a thing. Yes, in WWE it was. Natalya is proven that is not a thing anymore. But for Charlotte, she hasn't adapted. And that's going to be against her. And that's the problem with her legacy is that the last couple of years of when she's working, we're going to be sitting back analyzing it and being like, they could have done something else more with Charlotte, but instead, this is what we got.
It's like she should have came back. Like I think just the lack of changing anything about herself, and whether that's her idea or the company's idea that they see her as, it's like, they could have had her come back as kind of like, not wearing the robes and, change the ring gear, like, make it more like sporty, or like, put a leather jacket on, or, just try something else. Like,
why would we do that when the only reason why we've ever pushed her is because she's Ric Flair's daughter, and we've sold the whole idea that she's going to break her record one day? Like, that's been the thing since 2015. Like, that's been the plan since 2015, and and over the last decade, they've never seen any reason to change it, and now they're almost at the end. Why would they change it now? They finna get her through here. They finna file off some movie similar to probably like the Page movie or whatever else for her, and then they finna ship her ass off into the sunset.
I mean, I have a good idea and a theory, but follow me along here because my brain is a little mush. At this point in her career, because I said the last time she was on that roster before she took a break and did whatever and came back looking like Carmella / Iggy Azalea. I don't know what's going on, baby, but I don't like it. Don't like it.
We don't talk about that stuff for Charlotte. We leave that alone. That ain't for us. We stay out of women's business on that one.
It's not even. It's not even. What I'm saying is not even here. Like the face. What I'm saying is like outfits, everything. I don't know what's going on, because what we were seeing prior to her break. I said to somebody on Twitter, I said, I don't know what it is, but Charlotte kind of looks like and is kind of pulling off outfits that are reminiscent of Cher. And if you know anything about Cher was the original diva. So for me, it's like, okay, she's doing the whole Cher thing, and I think she kind of leaned into it. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. She's their Cher. We can throw her out there against this person. Our Old Faithful. For me, if that's going to be the case, let her be Old Faithful. Baker ain't there no more. Let her be the Mania match for the women. You newcomer coming to the roster, challenge the big boy. You're scared. Why not?
But if you do that, then you got to make her undefeated at WrestleMania.
We can do that easily. Squash Tiffany. Start it there.
Like, it's amazing.
Get it out the way.
Okay, before any of this stuff happened, right? Before any of this stuff happened, did anyone expect, or anyone think that Tiffany had a shot at winning? I thought she was getting fed to the chipper. Or the wood chipper. I thought she was getting fed to the wood chipper that is Charlotte Flair. I thought that was happening.
I don't think Charlotte is Charlotte win the Royal Rumble to come back to lay the shoulders. Like, right, it don't seem.
I'm coming back. And you want me to lose? I just won't show up then. I'll come back after
unless the result of all this is them wanting to put Tiffany over, and Charlotte's been acting up because of this. That's the only other. That's the only other thing there.
But I mean, they could easily do something like that with Charlotte, because I mean, it's just
we need Charlotte in the Kimmoki era.
She has a place there on that roster. It's just that everything else is just not working with her. She's gone against Bianca. She's gone against almost everybody except for the new ones that they're bringing up. Yeah. So how many times are you going to have the new Young Buck challenge Charlotte? Right. Do that Mania.
And give her one match. Part, right. As you just mentioned, she's already wrestled everybody, and she ain't there. And all them NXTers that are going to have to learn the ropes or the road, touring, all that kind of stuff. Where do we stop here when we're in this European city? That kind of thing, right? When you think about it, she ain't there, so who's going to be teaching them? The people that Charlotte has agreed, she's all aggrieved. So of course they're going to come in and be like, like, my vet got beef with you. I'm inheriting that, or I'm on guard for the bullshit with you. So like, her not being around, all this stuff turns into this like, what do you call it? Like self-fulfilling prophecy of things are going to go wrong because the earth's been salted, and even the new plants are dealing with people are learning from the other, salted ground. So it's all gonna be bad.
Mhm.
There's never gonna be anything that grows.
But that happened the same way with Taker. The difference is with Taker, everybody was scared of Taker. That's different. But that shit happened with him. You just didn't hear about it until years later after people got comfortable. But,
Sure, but
I mean, they can with Charlotte.
Sure, but there's also this part where like Undertaker was helping draw WrestleManias. Charlotte's never done that. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference is like there are things for Undertaker for why he will come back and continue to do these things or whatever else. Charlotte ain't helping them draw another 1,000 tickets.
No, but I mean, Mania, especially now with they're making it with 2 shows and stuff, there's gonna be so much more on the card than just Charlotte. That's my thing. Like, I just feel like if you can't do something with her, do something like that.
I get you.
It makes me think back.
You're trying to come up with solutions. I get you.
Yeah, like solutions, because it makes me think of like Shimmer before they went down. The last couple of years, they did the same thing with cheerleader Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
She had won the world title.
Made her attraction.
Right. So she had won the title. She had wrestled everyone since 2005, multiple times on the indies elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So there became a point where it's like, okay, we announce her for the card, her, Mercedes Martinez, and whoever else has been there since Shimmer started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's make her attraction. Let's make her okay, you new here? All right, you're good? Get in the ring with Melissa. Let's see how good you are.
Yeah, similar
made
to
her
like
attraction. So
I'm gonna say similar to like what's happened in the last 2 years with like Arisa Nakajima and Sealam for to retire last year, and then like Tsukasa Fujimoto since she's came back. And she's been champion many times, and now so it's like, all right, she's here to like, you got to face her at some point. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, like it's pretty much, I always call it the barometer test.
Yeah.
To see where, if you can really hang with the veterans and the ones that's in between almost veterans. Mm-hmm. And I feel like she could benefit in that role, but it's just a thing of she's not going to want to do that if she's always had everything her way. But it's like, it can't always be like that because they can't progress with any of those divisions in that way. They can't.
It could because there's less opportunity in those divisions compared to their male counterparts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then we're going to have about 6 or 7 more of them come out in the next couple of years. Like, I quit the company because...
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Are you ready for the Kailani Kai shoot interview? Ready for that?
Man, I'm going to be sitting there with my cold cup of coffee and be like, man, I'm too old for this shit, but let me turn it on.
The Soul Roca shoot interview.
Charlotte just wouldn't bounce for me. Mm-mm.
Yep.
She just wouldn't do it.
So, like,
what does Becky Lynch think of all this? She's got to be dying laughing, right?
You know, Becky.
Yeah, like seriously.
I knew she was gonna come back and fuck it up. I knew it's a matter of time she fuck it up. She can't help herself. I can't do the Becky accent. I can't. She can't help herself. She just can't help herself. That's exactly what Becky was saying. She probably said to Seth, like, she can't help herself, and Seth, like, yeah, I know. You told me.
Unless they're gonna put them together when she returns.
Yeah, man.
I hope not.
There's got to be an intervention with Charlotte, man. It'd be like, all right, what you want to do?
They're gonna treat it like they make the band skit with it was like, look, you can make the team or you can not make the team. Like, you make the song or you can not make the song. Like, she gonna have to come. She gonna have to at some point figure out how to like get some self-awareness about it and be like, look, man, I understand how you feel or whatever, and you have every right to feel that way because this company has enabled you in this way, but the times have changed, and at this point, you need to read the locker room, or you need to leave the company. Like, it's one of the two. And
like, just look around.
If she leaves the company, it's not going to be any better in AEW because Mercedes is already there. Mercedes are, every time you see what Mercedes is doing with everybody, and I guarantee you everybody loves working with Mercedes. You think like Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander and Megan Bain and Toni Storm, especially Toni Storm, quick powder in the face.
She would.
She'd be like, nah.
I don't think she would.
You'll be coming in doing a job.
She would be, look,
to someone.
She might come in with heat like CM Punk had after Brawl Out. Just come in and, and nobody wants to work with you. You know, I said it back. There'll be one person that will work with her. because no one wants to work with her. It'll be Charlotte Flair and Britt Baker. I'm already ready.
Oh my God, yeah.
Ready to see that match.
Oh, that's the new tag team. That's the new tag team right there. I would not want her in AEW, and it's nothing against that roster because that roster is stacked.
Yep.
Maybe 10 years ago, I would see it all working with all of them. But you guys think it's been 10 years of her having her political power, and she's a completely different person.
Away from that.
Right. I could see her, honestly, I could see her working better in Japan. Because
where in Japan?
I guess
where
better anyway.
No. Name the place.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I mean,
name the place. I can be mad at you.
Well, okay. First of all, we have Stardom. I mean, Rosie Ogawa is not going to take your bullshit. Okay. I mean, that man has lived.
No marigold for her.
Look, Ogawa has worked with some of the worst and most politically corrupt wrestlers in the business. This ain't nothing. That's a walk in the park.
Send it to the big flower then.
I'm saying, Michael is not going to deal with her in Sendai. I already know that. Oz Academy, why not? Ozaki needs another.
They ain't got no money for this. The yen is down. Stop it. You in the Oz Academy? Stop it.
Why not? Anything. I feel like she would do fine there. Because the thing is with Charlotte and a lot of wrestlers that depart from WWE that had their political power, even WCW, when they go to Japan, they have to have those structures over there to control them. Otherwise, like on the indies, like how many times we see people get let go from the company and go on the indies and wild out? And then we hear the story like, man, he was cutting up over here for $20. And it's because they don't have somebody telling them like, nah, you want to take the finish in this match. You want to take the pin.
If she go over there to Oz Academy and try to start some shit,
Aja Khan is going to backfist her into hell. She
it won't even be Aja Khan that will get to her. It'll be one of those multiple people that are in like 5 different promotions. It'll be team 200 kg. It'll be Hashimoto and you that handle her.
Yeah, I feel like she
it won't even get to Sekigune.
I think we're overlooking a place for Charlotte. It was a place that welcomed Tessa Blanchard, CMLL. We know it's Charlotte. She might feel comfortable in the surroundings. Romantically.
I don't know about that because I'm gonna be honest with you. She goes CMLL, she might burn that whole place down. Because CMLL be letting people fight, all kinds of unnecessary illegal things have happened to CMLL. So it made sense when Tessa went there. So it was like, well, I mean, yeah, of course. Yes. I mean, I can't see her, especially with the new regime that they have in TNA going on. I can't see Charlotte working there.
TNA is just baby WWE.
Yes. But what I'm saying is like with that roster, I don't know who she would be able to work with on that roster that would not whip her ass with that shit.
Don't matter.
It's not like a few years ago.
It's a check.
Yeah, like it's a little different from when Gail Kim and them were there. It was a little more controlled. Now we've got a different regime. We don't know who's over it at this point. It's just there.
Charlotte in AAA. Oh my God.
Nah, hold on.
That'd be Sexy Star 2.0.
Hold on. Maple Leaf.
Got Demore.
What do you say?
The Maple Leafs got Demore.
Right.
MLW. Power.
All right. MLW. Last chance you. We going all the way to we going to last chance you for sure.
Crack the Charlotte.
No. I think there's at a certain point where she just says, "I'm just retiring." Right?
Yeah. I mean,
she's not taking the Northeast Wrestling. She's not doing that. She's not doing the GCW.
Child, if she did GCW, I would know something wrong.
Right.
I'd be like, what is happening in the house? Rick, come get your kid.
What you say?
I said, is there a dependency if you in GCW? You don't know about.
What is happening?
Are you having personal problems?
I'd be like, Rick, can you come get your child? Be a dad, please.
Too late for that.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I just think about Charlotte and where she's at in her career, and I think she looks around like I feel like she should be able to look around the locker room and just notice like who's not there anymore and all the new faces. Because like Charlotte was gone as like the transition happened, right? He was there briefly, injured, come back. Bayley's working as a tag team wrestler, just so far away from prime time. Yeah, like it's like as you mentioned, Mercedes is gone.
It's crazy how that did to her when she carried this business through the pandemic, like people like to claim she did.
Yes.
Oh, Mercedes is gone. Becky can't get a storyline that is worth a damn, so they just like, all right, just hang out at the crib, miss a whole WrestleMania for this.
Do you think Becky's acting like an acclaimed actress and like they sending her scripts and she read these scripts? No, throws them in the trash. Send me something else, man. They be like,
right.
Yeah, she's like,
get you on this show. What does it look like? We haven't came up with a plan. Let me know what the plan is. Reason can finally get a plan. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, she's kind of like the Sally Field of, she ain't gonna do it if she don't like it.
Right.
Right. And like, I just see Charlotte. It's like just realize the surroundings have changed. Like it's not all the same. But
that's what I'm saying. She hasn't adapted, and that's the sad part because she just saw herself under that company's umbrella. She didn't see a difference outside of it. Like whereas Becky has experienced it, Bayley has experienced it, Mercedes experienced it, and know that there is more.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't see that.
Right.
So now she's stuck.
She didn't have to like wrestle outdoors against against Kyoko Kimura. She didn't have to do that. Becky did.
No, she didn't have to, be against No Name on a random show in the middle of Pennsylvania at 2 a.m. talking about, let's have a 5-star classic. What? No.
Right.
She didn't have to do that. So she's stuck.
Charlotte's been a big part of...
She has not been flown in to go to do shows over the weekend by people that like secretly are signed or brought her in just because they want to fuck her. That hasn't happened yet. That's not. I don't think that's a thing yet. That happened to them.
No, not yet. That's what I'm saying. Make her the taker.
Man.
Do every Mania we see her landing in the plane, come out jet flying. I mean, you gotta live it up.
So
why not?
How do we get her? How do we get her something the equivalent of like the Undertaker gong when it hits off, where it's like you know what it means? Like you are now trapped into a WrestleMania season with Charlotte Flair. Lock in. Like how do
I think it's just that first one.
Yeah. Can
we give her like how they used to do? They put the sting for Flair's woo when he was in WWE. Can we have her woo at the beginning of her shit? So we get her woo, and every time, and he's like, "Oh
just have
no!"
her,
like
when somebody wins
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like just have her like just appear on stage with the robe and everything on woo. She's out there. Have the person point at the sign. Because that sign don't really mean that, but like they going against her, and then every Mania we had the same montage of her getting off a plane. No, she's not really getting off a plane, but like just to play up the shits and giggles, play into the kayfabe character, and then have her each year come out there with a attire inspired by Cher, because that seemed like she was doing for a while, and I mean have her VH1 Divas moment every year.
Once you mentioned the Cher thing, my thought was like, oh my God, I finally get it. Because of like her frame and how tall she is, like I could absolutely see like what you mean. I absolutely get what you mean, except she doesn't have black hair. But I get exactly what you mean.
I would. Right. Like I feel like just play into it. Fucking why not?
Hey,
if you don't want to do it, Charlotte, do it, Becky.
Cher on her TV show, she had some fits. She was getting fits off.
Yeah.
She was getting fits off.
But I mean, even if they don't want to do it, Charlotte, do it to Becky. Make her, to beat a man, you gotta beat the man.
How much longer do you guys think Charlotte will last in WWE?
How much longer her contract?
Didn't she she just sign a new one or something?
Will she make it to 2027?
She's making however long that contract is.
That's what I'm saying, because didn't she just sign a new one not too long ago?
I have no idea.
No idea on Charlotte.
Because see, now, I can't remember when she first signed with that company. It was a 5-year deal. Because that's when they were doing 3-year, 5-year deal when they were bringing in through NXT. And I think she signed a 5. And then when it came to resign, I think she signed for 5 again.
I imagine she signed a 5 at some point since AEW's existed, because they were trying to sign up everybody to 5-year deals at some point.
Yeah.
Like in around 2000.
So I'm pretty sure she signed again.
Okay.
So I'm not sure at this point. I mean, I hope she didn't do an ironclad deal of like 10 years. I hope she didn't. I hope no one does that anymore in wrestling.
It says she re-signed maybe December 2023. So...
Oof. She might have another 5.
So 2028. All right.
No one in wrestling should be signing 10-year deals. Nothing. There's too much wrestling around. Too much. Go make your money.
Countdown is on.
Yep.
But yeah,
so,
I guess that's a good place.
No, I got a question. When Charlotte gets inducted into WWE Hall of Fame, right? Who's doing her induction speech and why? And
you know who?
Triple H.
Rick.
We can't exactly be so sure that Ric Flair will be around for that.
And it's Triple H.
We will have Rick in a enclosed case where he gets oxygen and wheel him up there.
Now here's my question. How come we're sure that it's one of those two and not any women? Don't you think that's kind of telling?
Well, there's a alleged rumor that women don't like each other.
All right, Rich. It's time to...
I'm not saying it's true.
It's time to wrap this show up before Ciara start bringing her foot off in your ass. So...
I mean, it could be one of the women. But it could also be one of those situations of where they have done that in previous times of Hall of Fame inductions and had the girls forcefully induct someone that they have nothing with. So it could be one of those things. It'll be a random, like, Joe Schmo from the Indies that just got there and they're like, hey, you're inducting Charlotte. And she's just like, Charlotte started wrestling when I was in, like, preschool. It can be one of those situations.
Oh, man.
Charlotte would hate that. She would hate that.
Like, far removed, don't know shit about her career, just knows that she was on TV when she was 5.
Wow.
I grew up watching you. Oh, she'll hate that. She would hate that.
Would. Look, she lucky. Look, Charlotte might take her life force, take that woman's life force like Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat.
Okay, and then come out there for the Mania match.
But yeah, I guess that's a good place to leave it. Ciara, thank you for joining us for these 2 segments. Can you tell the people where they can find you, or anything you want to plug? Anything you got coming up? Are you coming back from the island?
I can make appearances here and there. It's just I got one too. I'm still retired. I'm still retired, man. Man. I'm clearly on X at saying my name. SEIYA, my name. That's pretty much where I be at all the time. Her handle will be in the
show notes of this podcast.
Yes. I'm also on Blue Sky, but it ain't active over there like it used to be. Yeah, so that's pretty much where I do, and I just tweet about random stuff, music, sometimes wrestling, a lot of Joshi. Those are my things, but yeah, I'm retired. I come out when I'm ready.
Are you going to the Brisk Breezy tour when it comes to your area?
No. No. I'm old.
Just had to ask.
I'm auntie. I ain't got time. Auntie in the house.
I mean, Chris Brown got a wide range. My mother loves Chris Brown. So,
there is a lot of women that love him, and I don't know. I just never had that same appreciation or anything for him, even when he was a teenager. I just always thought he was off, and well, I was right. So there's that.
Well, you turned out to be right about that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys check out the Social Suplex newsletter, a new thing that has come to socialsuplex.com to release on a bi-weekly basis. Shouts out to Trish and Tim Hunter and Lyric Swinton, who wrote the lead piece in the newsletter this week. New kind of ambitious project. Everything is free to kind of consume and stuff like that. We've been, fortunate to be able to bring it to you guys for free. And it's one of the, we've taken risks and done things on the network and stuff like that. I think this is a really good thing for the health of pro wrestling. There's opinion columns, there's news from all over the world, different promotions. So please check that out and share it and, show folks love for, what they're contributing in there. Eventually, I'm going to probably write something in there that, I think needs to be written. So.
Yeah, y'all, and thanks for listening. Be sure to go to, if you're watching from the stream, be sure to go to Show Notes and Podcast when it's up and go to the link to Red Circle to donate there and check out the our Shop Tea store and be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have All Things Elite, Keepin It Strong Style, Amp's WWE Adventure, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, AEW Match Guide, Trish and Ciara Wrestling Podcast, and Tunnel Talk. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.